Good day. It is hump day. Welcome to the No Shave Man Cave. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, happy Husband Appreciation Day on this 15th day of April 2023. Yes, sir. And welcome to Ellie Jair
and Jay Tilly,
in
except
the
it's not
Man
April.
Cave.
It's February.
Oh, my goodness. I just
You're jumping ahead
leapfrogged a
a month,
couple of
buddy.
months. I'm so excited. I can't wait for April. That's what's up, man. I am ready. And it's great to be in the cave. And I am psyched to talk about how Monday Night Raw went, man. What do you think?
Yeah, man. It was a decent show. I have a lot of problems with some of the stuff on the show too, which we'll get into as we go through the recap.
Right.
There was a lot of baffling decisions that I don't get, and just standard WWE stuff, which I'm curious what you thought of it, and then yeah, we'll get into it because
Yeah.
matter of fact, it even opens with one that I'm just like, what? This doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Almost like they were just trying to fill stuff.
Yeah. They were like, okay, we've got 3 hours. That's 180 minutes.
Yep.
And we have 4 matches planned. And that's 12 minutes. So
Yeah, and
we've got
3 of them
100.
were under 3 minutes.
Right. Yeah. And
Yeah,
it's
three
just
more
like,
squash matches.
yeah.
But yeah, so the show opened with Becky in the ring, and she thanks Lita for helping her in the cage match. And I did appreciate the fact that she did a callback to like, "Hey, sorry, I was kind of weird last year. I was in a weird place," or whatever she said. So I'm like, okay, little WWE not forgetting that she tried to fight her, and now okay, cool. Like I was in a bad place.
Right.
And then which another awesome thing I thought about the promo is she admits to the fact that she had kind of lost focus and she wasn't focusing on winning a title or going to WrestleMania. She was focusing on all the wrong things, which was cool to hear that. I'm like, all right, so you're acknowledging as a wrestler, you should be focusing on the titles all the time. So that was cool.
Yeah.
Then Bayley's music hits. Bayley comes down to the ring and they get into this, I'm better than you, you're better than me. Bayley said, I've defended SmackDown and Raw titles at WrestleMania, and then Becky hits her back with, yeah, but I headlined WrestleMania. So a little good back and forth, which is fine. Like, I thought the feud was over with the cage match. Like that, usually a cage match is a good blow off for a feud. Obviously, it looks like they're going to continue this one going. I hope they're not going to drag it all the way out to WrestleMania because nobody really wants to see that. I mean, not that they don't work well together, but I feel like they're really dragging this one out.
Yeah, it's one of those things where you're like, okay, it's like a set of tires. You're like, okay, man, the tread is gone.
Yep.
What can you do? You had a cage match. You had a botched cage match. You've had some other stuff. You had some decent matches on some pay-per-views. Bayley came back from her injury, had some more great matches. And, I like kind of like maybe what you're thinking is it might be time to move on. But what I think they could do, because they acknowledged she was in a weird place. They acknowledged that she just wasn't thinking clearly, and they're going to be in Montreal.
Yeah.
So you've already brought out one legend. You're going to be in another legend's hometown.
So that's going to get into something that I was going to bring up at the end of the show when they get into that. But yeah, where was Trish Stratus? They advertised her. It said she was going to be there, and then she wasn't. So yeah, I agree. They could bring that up. And I still think the play is Lita, Becky, and Trish versus Damage Control and Bayley. But I feel like they should have built it this Monday. 100%. Are they just going to announce it for Elimination Chamber, or are Elimination Chamber they're going to have something go down and they're going to set that up for WrestleMania? That might be the WrestleMania match. However,
yeah, I don't know if they want to do a WrestleMania 6 or a 6-man or 6-woman, because you got the tag team titles and you got Ronda Rousey not doing anything. So it's like,
yeah, that's what I was going to say. You don't want to drag it out that far because, like you just said, now you've eliminated the fact that Ronda and Shayna are going to go for the titles. So it's yeah, I think they're going to put it on Elimination Chamber. I just don't know how they're going to get there unless they do something on Friday, which they could do, or they could just announce the match. I don't know. It feels like something that should have some build,
or something happens backstage. Trish is visiting. and then all of a sudden it's like, that's it. I'll see you in the cage. And or Adam Pierce, because like Adam Pierce, he accepted he accepted Becky's challenge to make
that was the other part of the opener. Is then Bianca comes out and says all this talk about the title, but nobody's talked to me. I think that if you guys want a chance at the title, you should go against me. And I'm like, what? Why?
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand. And then he makes that main event match, and I'm like, what are we doing here? This doesn't even make sense. Like, why would Bianca want them? I just, the whole thing didn't make sense. It really frustrated me.
Yeah.
I didn't understand why Bianca would come out and go, well, hey, I want more competition. Put them in, but before they go in, they have to beat me. It boggled my mind.
I agree. It's one of those things where you're like, okay, and again, it kind of goes back to how we were talking about. You've got 180 minutes. You had like 9 minutes of wrestling and 3 other matches, and then a main event. I mean, you had some other matches and stuff, but that's how it felt. And I don't.
And that brings up another point is, so he makes it the main event. Okay, well then as a booker, what was your main event gonna be? If you're on the spot making this your main event, okay, so now you're telling me, which when we get to the card rundown, it ends up being the Boogs versus Miz. So that was your scheduled main event? Like, really?
What gets pushed down the card in order to elevate your main event? Like, come on, man.
Yeah, I don't know. And again,
hard subject to change.
it just with the Bianca, the whole thing with Bianca saying, "Oh, I want to fight them both." Why would you do that going in? It was just frustrating.
Yeah,
that whole opening promo thing. Like, I appreciated some of the stuff Becky said. I appreciated the back and forth, and where she made the comment about you were sitting at home with your peg leg while I was out here carrying the division. But I didn't understand the Bianca Belair part. Like, if they wanted to continue the feud, they could have. If they wanted to do a match between the two of them to get in the chamber, do that as the main event, and then have it end in a DQ so neither one make it. Or there's so many other things they could have done, and it was just frustrating. Not that the match when we get to it wasn't great. It just, I have a lot of issues with the match too itself when we get to it. Also,
just getting there was frustrating because you're like,
right?
You've got 3 amazing, talented women who have main evented pay-per-views before. Bayley having done a NXT Brooklyn, and Bianca has did a match with Sasha, and then you had Becky main event WrestleMania. So you're like, they all can, consider themselves like the ring general, but to like sloppily piece them together when it should be super clean because they're all
top tier
champions. Yeah. 100%. Yeah. Very, very weird. Yeah.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I didn't. Like I said, I liked the concept of the promo, and I liked what they got to. I just didn't like the outcome of the promo, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no.
Like, I was okay with Becky coming out. I was okay with Becky thanking Lita. I was okay with Bayley coming out and saying, you and I are, you're not better than I am. Oh, that's fine. If they're going to continue the feud, that's fine. I just didn't like the final outcome of it personally. So Yep. Sorry, go ahead.
No, sorry. I was going to go off tangent. Thank you for saving me.
I thought you were, or I wouldn't have taken a sip of my drink.
My bad.
So then we get the Judgment Day in the back. They talk about Elimination Chamber, and Priest talks about how he's going to own the cage, and Dom makes a comment like, "Yeah, like how I own the yard in the prison." I thought that was really good. I enjoyed that line.
Oh man, he gets
I like the whole
here.
Yep.
And for all the if parents are listening to this on the drive to school, please mute 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Total chicken shit heel. Unmute. He is slowly becoming a Eddie Guerrero-esque. Just you watch them, and they're doing it right. And I don't know what they're going to do with Dominic's character, because eventually they're going to have to mend that bond between father and son. And then, like what I envision, a couple years down the road, Ray retires, and Dom gets his mask. So it's eventually you gotta, the bonds that tie have to be, fixed. But yeah, his
Yeah.
the one-liners. Priest was really really strong
Yep.
in his promo, and I think the Judgment Day is just like building steam,
Yeah.
and I thought it was going to be a flash in the pan when Edge bounced, and the
I think
fact
they've
that
just gotten
Edge,
stronger.
yes, 100%, and I like
Yep.
how Edge acknowledges that it was his fault why we have Judgment Day, and every time he
Yep.
thinks about it, he gets upset. So that match, and Beth Phoenix looks yoked, like as good as she did, during her main event days, and her gear looked good last night. She looked in fantastic shape, and Edge looks not like he's 4 matches away from being done with the WWE,
Yeah,
or
that's
five,
the rumor.
4 or 5. So I'm really excited about what this match is going to be. So
Yeah. So yeah, that got to kind of the end of the next match because it was the Judgment Day versus Street Profits, and decent match. Street Profits look good, man. They're both getting strong in how they perform, I think. So watching them, there was it was a moonsault, I think, or a suicide dive over the top rope by Montez Ford to Damian Priest, and oof, he landed like almost didn't get caught. It was close.
Mhm.
It looked rough. It made me go, oh no, that's gonna not be good.
Yeah,
Oh, he's okay, cool.
You're
Yep.
hoping he, kept his chin tight, and super, like, yeah, both of the Street Profits, they look great. They're building them as a strong, like, number 2 tag team
Yep.
that may or may not have some, like, chinks in their armor. So when they do decide to go their own way, they're both individually strong, unlike, some of the great tag teams, how, Hawk never had a individual run, Hawk
Right.
and Animal,
Right.
but to because I'd hate to see Dawkins and Montez feud just because they seem so tight. Um, to have them feud afterward, I don't. But yeah, I thought they
Yeah.
looked good. I thought the Judgment Day looked great too. So that was a good match.
Yeah. I almost hope that if they do split them up, it's like in a draft or something, so they can kind of go their own way.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And then as like if there's like Survivor Series or something, they get together, they're still friends and they're still together.
Right.
So if they're going to split them in like a draft or something. So
Yeah.
that's how I think I'd like to see it.
Yeah, that's a good call.
Ended with a nasty looking. He hit him with hit Dawkins with a sling blade. Balor did. Then a brutal looking drop kick to the corner.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I was like, "Oof, that looked rough." Obviously, he didn't get hurt. Rolls into position for a coup de grace. Boom, 1, 2, 3. Judgment Day win. They put the beat down on him, and out comes Beth and Edge to make the save. And she's got Dom in the ring again, getting ready to get that clam slamming.
Mm-hmm.
Mommy shows up. Man,
Damn.
she makes a save, and the men in the crowd rejoice. Woo!
Yeah.
Wow.
All of us
Yeah,
did,
so she
man.
comes in, and then hits her with the riptide and leaves Beth in the ring, and Edge consoling her, and they walk up the ramp. So, kind of covered, basically what we talked about with when you talked about Edge and Beth already. So that's how that one ended.
Yeah.
It is what it is. It's extending the feud. It's setting up for the match,
Yeah.
which I appreciate.
Yeah, and I think Rhea and the Judgment Day continue to look strong, building the grit couple. They, and that's like the perfect story. How, like, I'm always talking about how a match starts. They feel each other out. Someone works from underneath, and then you have the comeback. And this is because now you're like, oh well, Edge and Beth are going to get even. I don't know, because Rhea's going to WrestleMania.
Yep.
What role is Dom going to play in it? And I love the way this is being orchestrated. This is great storytelling.
I think if anything, you'll see Edge pin Balor is how I think it'll go down.
Wow.
It's just that makes the most sense because you're not going to have. I mean, I guess you could have Rhea pin Beth and have Rhea look extra special strong because she's beating Beth.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It could go that way, I guess.
Yeah, I think if they do that, you tip the cap, or you tip your, tip the, your pad. That Rhea's definitely going over at WrestleMania if you have Rhea pin Beth. But then if you have Beth pin Rhea, you're like, wait a minute, this is supposed to be the women's world champion.
Yeah, I don't see a booking where Beth pins Rhea. I don't see that as an outcome at all. I see it. It's either going to be, I think, either Edge pinning Balor or Rhea pinning. Depends. If you're going to keep the Judgment Day strong, yeah, my guess is you have Rhea pin Beth for the end. Maybe Dom gets involved or not.
Yeah.
We're totally going down a rabbit hole on a podcast where we say we're going to talk about later,
Yeah.
which is our predictions for Elimination Chamber.
The prognostication.
So maybe we should let's stick right to Raw so we don't give away some of this stuff with the get the pencil for later.
That's my pencil impersonation. Yeah, no, great match. It ended, and great pop, a lot of heat, good stuff.
Yeah. Beatdown looked good, so it was good. We're rolling for that, obviously commercial break and all that good stuff. And we come back, and it's Brock Lesnar and Lashley contract signing. It is what it is. I did like the twist with Lesnar going, or Lashley going, yeah, I'm not coming down to the ring. You come up here. And he set his own table up. And, then so Brock, he taunts Brock a bit, and Brock finally is like, fine. I did like the fact that Lashley made a point to say, every time we've been face-to-face in the ring, I've beat you. And I'm like, is that true? And I'm like, oh, it is true. He has, when it's just been them one-on-one, he's beat him every time. I'm like, all right, that's true facts right there.
Yeah, way to lay it out. And, are you going to put the Hurt Business back together? So you want to keep building this new iteration of Brock Lesnar is great storytelling, good, like, I don't want to say comic relief, but sort of upper mid-card fodder, because Lesnar still, he still moves the needle, so that's still fun to see him coming in and, sort of yucking it up with everyone.
Yeah.
Are they foreshadowing something if the bloodline crumbles? Now Heyman is free to do stuff, and does he go back to Heyman or does he go back to Lesnar and go, hey, I'm, you need to be the reigning, defending, undisputed heavyweight champion, and we need to get you in a card with, or we need to get you in a program with Cody, but then you have someone like Gunther walk up, and then that whole thing ravels. But yeah, I think they're building Lashley to be, a lot stronger. And this is 15 years removed from when it should have happened.
Yeah,
maybe a little bit.
Yeah, when they're both in the prime and the top of their game.
Right, and I think this will be a big fun match. And like the boys over at What Culture say is there's going to be some big man meat slapping around, and I think this is going to be a fun match between their power moves, the suplexes, the F5s, the hurt lock. Oof, man.
They've done it all. Like, so that was my only complaint is I think we've seen every iteration of this match. Even didn't they do a no holds barred version? So to me,
that's true.
I'm like, okay, we've seen this before. Now I'm glad they're doing an Elimination Chamber because I think that's going to free up Brock to go after Gunther or Brock to do something else for Mania. And I think it also frees up Lashley to maybe reunite with the Hurt Business and do something at so we'll see. But contract signing, taunts Brock a lot. Brock tries to, brings he said, you bring the contract to me. And as he's on his way up, tears the hell out of security, but ends up getting speared and dropped on his head on the ramp by Lashley, who signs it and tosses it at him.
Yeah.
Then next up was Piper Niven versus Michin. Not much to say. It was a 3-minute squash match.
Yeah.
Piper Niven looks great. I'm glad they got rid of Dewdrop, and
Yeah.
I'm glad they're letting her be her. I don't know if you watch any of her stuff from. I think she was at NXT UK and some of the stuff she did in the UK, and that stuff she was really good. And I like the fact that they're. So we all know Vince McMahon, and we all know why it was Dewdrop, and it was he's Vince McMahon, right? She's not your bombshell blonde, super skinny, super athletic looking, but boy is she athletic, and she can go. So
yeah, some of her matches from the British organization she was with, it'll come to me in a minute. It's like it'll come to me in a minute.
Yeah.
The matches that she had, she would do some cannonball moves and some stuff off the second rope. I was like, "Oh, go girl!" So yeah, it's good to see a little bit of her personality. Changing up her gear. Letting her kind of go back to her roots. And I'm not sure about the face paint, like the.
Yeah, I didn't get that either.
I don't know what that's.
It looked too much like Braveheart.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I don't know if she's going to be in a parody for WrestleMania, but yeah, I agree, and I'm a huge Mia Yim fan, so I was hoping she'd get some more offense in. And
she's been just a turd floating in the toilet since she's been back.
Yeah,
I'm a fan of her too, but man, she hasn't really done a whole lot.
Yeah, I think a little bit has to do with the Good Brothers and AJ. His leg is all jacked up, so hopefully he'll be back soon, and they'll start building it back up. But then since they're not in a program with the Judgment Day, what do you do with their talent? And
I haven't seen the Good Brothers on TV in a long time.
Yeah,
I heard they did Main Event. They've been shuffled off to a Main Event.
Yeah, and they were like, "Oh, it's not because by choice. It's just creative. It hasn't had anything for them. So hopefully they'll play, or even if they do some backstage stuff with WrestleMania, that'd be funny. To see them, do some of their shtick and get ready for, sort of the WrestleMania's the season finale, and then, we'll see what we end up doing with them. Yeah, what we end up doing with them for 2023. So.
Yep. But then we had the recap of what happened Friday, so that took up about 15 minutes or something ridiculous, and then rolls into this next part. I liked and I didn't like. So we'll go through it. I'll go through all of it kind of together, and then we can talk about it.
Okay.
So we do a recap of the Baron Corbin JBL, and how JBL, you're trash. I don't want you. And so, and I forget the interviewer's name, but she's back there interviewing Baron Corbin, and she goes, "Oh wait!" As he's starting to talk, we have something important to do. I was like, "Oh, that's cool." And they cut to the ring, and it's Sami Zayn coming in, which I was like, "Okay, cool." And Sammy gets in there. He goes, "I'm not here to hold up the show. I just need to talk to somebody face to face." And he calls out Cody Rhodes, and they cut a pretty good promo with each other. It almost, as Roman Reigns put it in his response. I don't know if you saw it or not. He did a response on Instagram, and basically they do a pep rally for themselves. And Roman's Instagram thing is like, "If you've got to do a pep rally to fight me, you're not ready." And I was like, "Ooh, yeah, way to go, Chief."
Yeah.
But so they do, Sammy asks him, he's like, "Did you mean it? Did you really think I could beat him?" Cody, yeah, I said it. I meant it. I think you can beat him. The question is, do you think you can beat him? And in an interesting twist, I thought Sammy saying no was like, okay, why would you admit that? But then he goes into detail with it, and he talks about how he's been in the trenches, and he knows his tactics, and he knows the bloodline gets involved, and all that other stuff. And I'm like, okay, that makes sense. Like, I can see why in his head he's up against the odds.
Right.
So they do their promo, cuts to commercial, and I think we get like a little, if I remember correctly, a little snip in there of like Nikki, Carmella, and Asuka talking to each other, and something to do with Candice LeRae, and I don't know, something short. It was whatever. Like, it wasn't, I think in my notes I put yawn. Like, it was one of those like, okay, I can go get a drink in this. But then we go back to Corbin, who's standing there still in the same position right outside of Gorilla, which when they did it the first time, I'm like, that's an interesting place for it. But I love it because he starts talking. I did like the fact that he brought up the point that he's the last person to beat Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
I was like, is he really?
I was like,
that's kind of cool.
That's a nice touch. And again, like what Becky did, what the WWE used to never do is they wanted you to forget because it's
right.
that 24-hour news cycle, but yet they go back to it. And I was like, I love that. That is awesome.
Yeah, I really appreciated some of, and I think it's probably a lot of Triple H, but even with Cody there, maybe he's giving some behind the scene things. But I absolutely love this. So he's doing his interview, he talks about that, and then he goes off on Cody Rhodes being entitled and how Cody, gets hand gifted a WrestleMania spot and gets hand gifted number 30 in the Royal Rumble. And he's been given all this stuff, and that he doesn't care about Cody and he doesn't care about his brother, which I think is cool that he talked about Dustin, because some of the rumors are out there as Cody wants Dustin at WrestleMania to be in his corner. And from what I understand, AEW is like, okay. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. I don't know if Dustin's contract's up or not, but anyway, talks about it, and he's like, and I don't even care about their father, Dusty. Well, right as he's saying that, in the background, which makes sense, coming through Gorilla, is Cody Rhodes. And I'm like, that is such a neat way to have the one of the things I hate about wrestling, and we talk about what culture, like their pet peeve, and you've talked about it.
Yeah.
Like if I'm talking about something and there's somebody standing, like right now on our video screen, if there was somebody standing right off screen and I start talking trash about him, oh my gosh, where'd you come from? Like, and that's what the interruptions usually look like. Right. For him to come walking through the Gorilla area the way he did, I was like, yeah, that makes sense. Like, why wouldn't he be coming through that door? And for him to even stand there and like listen, he takes off his watch, and I'm like, oh no. And then they start brawling. I was like, oh, great. But then this is the part I had an issue with. I don't know, maybe he's a VP at WWE now too, because suddenly he books a match with no notification, no nothing, gets a ref out there and books a match.
Yeah.
I had an issue with that. He's like, all right, refs, come with me, and takes Baron Corbin and smashes him in like 2 minutes and pins him. So the part I wanted to pick apart was that. Like, I liked everything leading up to the fact that he could just make an impromptu match and not even like, because sometimes you get the impromptu match, like, I'll fight you later tonight. Okay, like, you can kind of start buying into those because, okay, I went to Tony or I went to Papa H and said, hey, I want this match tonight. Book it. But this was like on the fly. He literally pulled him through Gorilla and said, so I think in my notes I put VP Cody makes match. And I was like that part I had a problem with.
So during that part, what I wrote was, do you want the truth? And because I was waiting for Corbin to like get into something about, you want the truth? I am the wrestling god, and like try and build himself back up. And the crowd was really good. They were really into it. Great energy. And then I started like, because it was kind of like droning on and off. And I'm like, what if we're being swerved? And I still keep going back around what's going to happen with Elimination Chamber and WrestleMania. And then I think I picked up my phone, and then I heard, get a ref out there. And I was like, oh, Cody's, I guess he's got enough stroke around WWE. But, you just had Becky, Bayley, and Bianca in the ring, and you needed Becky to tell Adam Pearce to, I challenge you to, make a main event. Like, hold on, man. It's got to be the same. I get not everybody's treated the same. Everybody's treated fairly. But, like, I just, that swerved me. Not swerved, kind of like, okay, well, I guess, my suspended belief can only go so far, right?
Right. Yeah. And don't get me wrong, like, I thought, even though it was a squash, those two actually have pretty good chemistry together.
Yeah.
Like, I almost am like, I would be okay with, assuming Cody wins at WrestleMania, which I'm pretty sure he will. I'd be okay with like a Cody Baron Corbin feud going forward. Even though he squashed him.
Yeah.
You could go back and say the reason he squashed him is because he jumped him from behind, which he did. Cody, heel style, almost jumped him from behind.
Yeah. I wasn't ready. I
could see that. God. Yeah. Or even the fact that you jumped him from behind, made a match, and then, Baron could even go back with, why was that match even legal? Like, nobody set that match up. How could that have been legal?
Right.
So I could see that becoming something, which would be cool. Like I said, they had pretty good chemistry. And was it me or did Cody look jacked? Oh my gosh. I don't know what it was different. Maybe it was the fact that he was in his suit and I don't know, not to, man crush on him, but I was like, damn, that dude looks trim. Like he's not eating a carb in 6 months or something.
Yeah, he told the story during the Royal Rumble press conference. He hadn't had sugar in a couple of months, and he looked in really good shape at the Royal Rumble, and he's kind of been on the circuit doing a bunch of interviews. So I don't know, whatever he's doing, he definitely looks the part, and seeing him carry the new
he's like the opposite of me.
Yeah.
I ate all the carbs he needed for that time period.
Yeah, he must be mailing whatever weight he's dropping over to my place. So knock it off, man. But it was a good spot, a nice strength building position and piece of business for Cody.
Yep. And I was just over the moon impressed with him walking through Gorilla and not just being the invisible man.
Yeah,
off to his right, and then suddenly you say something about it, and he's here. Like I appreciated that. I love that it was natural feeling and smooth. I thought that was really, 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 like, a lot of props to WWE on that one. That was really smooth and really well done.
Great production. All the matches are really good, but the backstage pieces just seem like, okay, I got to fill. Okay, you got 6 minutes to fill.
Yep.
And go. But yeah, you're right. The timing was really good and good. Again, a good piece of business.
Yeah, there was another tidbit of good business later on in one of the other backstage promos that I'll talk about.
Yeah.
Next was the 6-women match with Nikki Cross, Carmella, and Asuka versus Liv, Raquel Rodriguez, and oh my gosh, I'm Hart. I'm totally drawing a blank on her name.
Neidhart,
yeah. Natty, yeah. Yeah, it was okay. All I've got is Asuka just kicks a lot of ass.
Yeah.
Because she did. She went nuts. And I love that she even turned on her. Like, it was perfect because my thought going into it before they started is, why would they all team together if in 4 or 5 days they're going to be at each other's 6 days, I guess. They're going to be at each other's throat in the chamber. And so then when Asuka turned to him, I'm like, oh, that makes sense. Like, why would you not try to beat everybody up and put Liv in some nasty armbar and then got the win for her team after she kicked the crap out of her own team?
Yeah, I thought someone was going to go after Raquel Rodriguez's arm. I thought Liv was going to get thumped, and then it was just going to be an all-out melee because they are, they are all booked for Elimination Chamber.
Yeah.
So as I was reading, or as this match was on, the allegedly in me kicked in, and allegedly there are a couple of surprise ideas being sprinkled around by Papa H, and one of them may be the return of the Glow. So that would be interesting. Naomi comes back, but I think if she comes back, that would be a cool story if she could somehow try and keep the bloodline together.
Right.
Or if they're going to keep her completely away from it and repackage Jay and Jimmy as main event Jay and, something, but they'll probably be off for TV for a while. But yeah, I kind of went off into La La Land during that match because it was kind of like fodder. Hey, we need 8. You got 8 minutes.
Yep.
Everybody hit their spots. Lot of Natty screaming.
Yeah.
And then Buzzsaw engaged with Asuka.
Yeah, that was she, like I said, kicked a lot of ass.
Yeah.
Kicked a lot of ass. I mean, she beat the hell out of everybody. It was great. I like to see that old school Asuka tear through everybody thing.
I love that foo dog look that she's got.
Yes,
and
the murder clown paint.
Man, yeah, she looked great. All of them look, hit their spots, look good, look like they're ready.
Oh, yeah.
And I
Yep.
think Elimination Chamber, I think it'll be a lot of fun.
Yep. And then cut to the back, we've got Otis and Chad Gable there, and Otis is eating a hot dog. And Chad knocks out his hand, and it hits the Maximum Male Models in the face. And they decide to start recruiting Otis. I don't know why. I laughed my ass off. It was such a stupid backstage segment, but I got a big kick out of it, even to the point where he's like, where Chad Gable's like, oh, this is a nice business card. You know, I'd do some. I'm like, man, this is great.
Yeah.
So I enjoyed that little whatever it's going to be.
Yeah, I was thinking Chris Farley on Saturday Night Live
You know,
with Patrick Swayze.
Well, and then again, there's some long term book in there, or long term storyline, because there was a time when Otis was with, was it Liv? No, he was with Mandy Rose
in
and
Kentucky.
They had that weird thing at their weird relationship. So yeah, I thought I don't know, I got a big kick out of that. Just Otis is like, yes, and he's got mustard in his beard.
Yeah,
I thought that was pretty good.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah.
And then as the end of that, Bronson Reed walks by and just kind of looks at them both and rolls his eyes and walks on to go squash another squash. Actually, this one, I wouldn't call it a squash per se, because it actually went longer than I think some of the other matches, but him and Mustafa Ali, it was a pretty good big man versus small man fast match.
Yeah.
But Bronson Reed is impressive.
Yeah,
that guy can go.
Yeah, he was very, very disappointed. He did an interview. He's done a few interviews, even before he came back to the WWE, but he's done a couple since he's gotten back. And he did one where he said he actually took offense to being released without even really being given a chance to defend the North American title. So he drops the title a week before he gets released, and he goes off and does some really, really good work. When he was in the Grand Prix in New Japan, he looked phenomenal.
Yeah.
He did some indie shows, and he did. He may have showed up at. I don't want to throw companies' names out there, but he showed up at another
Impact
company
for a while.
I was going to say Impact.
I think he was at Impact for a while.
But
and
looked great, and yeah.
The River City WrestleCon that we went to, the one where you bugged out a little early. He and James Storm was the main event of that match. The last day. So Edie and I got to sit there and watch him and James Storm have a hell of a match for a little IndieCon convention.
Yeah.
They put on a hell of a match, and James Storm cut a promo after talking about how great Bronson Reed was going to do, and that he didn't know where he was going to go, but he's going to be a big star wherever he goes. And they hugged it out, and that was pretty cool.
Right there at the Duval County Fairgrounds.
Yep.
Man, yeah, that's James Storm, he's doing some good stuff. He just posted some stuff about he's doing movies and TV and stuff, and dude looks yoked.
Yeah, he and I talked at that con for a little bit.
Yeah.
About like the movies getting ready to do and everything in Veteran. It was cool because we got those early passes, so we got to go talk to him. And if Edie's listening, we talked for like 45 minutes. So inside baseball joke, because every time I tell the story, she says I increased it by 5 minutes. So
yeah,
but yeah, it was kind of neat to just like have that almost like one-on-one time. As a matter of fact, signed a beer bottle for me right up there.
Oh, we were just talking about the beer bottle. I was like, wait a minute, is that
to Jason from James Storm, and it was a beer bottle he had just finished drinking out of.
Nice. So, yeah, the little tip of that cap to Beer Money.
Yeah.
Very great,
really cool dude.
Tag team.
Yeah, it was neat to see him at that. And I know we're kind of going off on a little bit of a tangent, but you just see the announcements on who all's going to be there this year? You've got Saraya.
WrestleCon?
Yeah, Saraya.
Oh, yeah.
Bryan Danielson, Abdullah the Butcher, Rob Van Dam, Kurt Angle, JBL. They announced somebody else. I guess Abdullah the Butcher was the one they just announced, which I was like, okay, that'd be cool.
I'm looking forward to seeing Bryan Danielson.
Oh, you're going to be in Mexico, remember?
Oh, my God.
You're going to miss this one.
Yeah, I wanted to see Sergeant Slaughter with my, I don't know if you can see. Yeah, you can't see my, America's Championship. Wanted to get a photo and an autograph with him. So, man, yeah, we gotta hit the streets next time we get the orders from the Sarge. So I'm rocking my Sergeant Slaughter shirt today. Hello, maggots.
Yeah, I've just got my 4 faces of Foley.
Noise.
So I was hoping that they'd make that announcement. I'd love to see Foley.
Oh, that'd be fun.
To be honest with you, like all the people there, I'm like, it'd be cool. Nobody was like Bret Hart that one year. Like that was the first time that I like fanboyed out. Matter of fact, he signed the Simpsons figure right there.
That's awesome
for me. And then he signed that NWO baseball card that you got me.
Oh, right on.
So yeah, you probably can't see that on the camera.
No, I can see it. Yeah,
but yeah, so he that was out of all of them that I met, that was kind of cool. Like it was kind of cool, like that. I'm not a pay for autograph kind of dude, but that was like, all right, like it's Bret Hart, man. Got to do it.
Yeah, I thought like you said,
Ted DiBiase, I think, is going to be there too. $1 Million Man. That was the other person they announced.
That'll be fun.
Yep.
Yeah, he'll if he's near Sergeant Slaughter, they would have some funny stories from like the late '80s, early mid '80s. Like the Missouri Valley stories and stuff. Mid-South.
Yeah, he's one that I'd probably. Matter of fact, I've got a sign. There you go, signed $1 Million Man Hall of Fame right there.
Oh, geez.
So we got that too, but that'd be cool to see him again and get him to sign something else.
Yeah.
I'm big on one of the things I want to do, totally going off on a tangent here, is all the things I've had signed that personally I've had signed with the wrestlers, including like the 8x10s and stuff I got all around. I want to get a frame with 2 8x10s of them signing or their signature plus me meeting them. Like I've got the Lucha Brothers and all that other stuff. So, which also, they signed those figures.
Oh yeah.
WrestleCon was good to me last year. So
yeah, that was I can't believe I bailed like that. And you had a lot of luck with some of the AEW shows too. And that's super awesome. So.
Yeah, I think I met Cody Rhodes there and talked to him for a little bit, and that was cool. Got a picture. I think it's my personal Twitter picture.
Yeah.
So if you're out there looking for me, it's mine.
That's me and Cody. Yeah,
me and Cody.
Friend. Yeah, I have such a problem with traffic that it is spilled onto my son Rylan, where he's like, "You want to get out of here?" Like it's the third quarter. Like, so we ended up leaving. I think there was about 10 minutes left in the fourth quarter of the Giants Jaguars game.
Right.
And I missed a lot of it, a lot of the comeback stuff. I saw Danny Dimes make a long run, and then we got up and we were out and at home, and I live in St. Augustine. We were out of the stadium and back home in like 40 minutes. I'm like, I totally messed up. We could have stayed. Yeah, it would have taken an hour and a half to get out of there, but it would have been worth it. So I need to embrace,
you did the same thing.
Embrace the suck.
For, what was it, Double or Nothing at Daly's place where they did Stadium Stampede? You're like, oh, I'm just going to leave. And then they are, like, I got to see, Sammy Guevara almost run over somebody with a golf cart. And I think if you watch back that pay-per-view, like, I'm in the background and you left. And I'm like, what?
As I'm walking out, I see Sammy, like, hiding behind a golf cart. I'm like,
yep, getting ready.
Oh, my God, I can't believe I'm leaving right now. What a jerk.
Yep. And then same thing with when I met Cody. You'd left early that night, too. And you were like, oh, I'm going to head out. And I think they were doing a Rampage taping, and you'd left. And I'm like, dude, Cody hung out with us.
They were going to do...
they did his, like, birthday party or something. Gave him a cake. I don't remember exactly what it was.
That's right. You're right, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
and then you're like, oh, I'm just going to head out.
The big show and stuff.
Yep. You're like, yeah, I'm just going to head out. I'm like, dude, like, this is cool. And then sure enough, Cody, like, because I know you're a bigger Cody mark than I am. So
yeah,
I like to rub that one in your face a little.
I have a poster of Cody. Let me real quick grab this. So I got to add another poster to the collection.
Okay.
After WrestleMania, we'll do some side by side.
Oh, that's cool.
And
so for the audio podcast, I will edit some of this silence out.
Yeah, we're gonna have to edit this.
At least the silence for our
radio.
Yeah, I might just leave it in.
43:38 to 44:37. So I want to get a photo of Cody with his blown out pec.
Oh, okay.
And I've got to finish the matting on that one, and then add his Supermania. What? Add his WrestleMania, because I've got a spot right here that I'm going to put a couple more posters. I've
Little
got
Shrine of Cody. I've got some too,
little
actually.
deity. Yeah.
I think I've got like 3 or 4 Cody figures behind. I've got the one with him in the belt, the winged belt.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if you can see him behind me. I got his first blood match.
Oh yeah.
With his brother.
Oh yeah, that's a really
AEW
cool,
Championship one.
That's a cool series. So
okay, so back to Raw.
Sorry. And we're back.
So after that commercial break, talking about our man cave. Oh yeah, and then I had Bret Hart. Anyway, no, we'll go. So
wrestling and stuff.
Yeah, hey, as the outro says, we might get lost, but we'll eventually come back to it.
We'll come back around.
That's okay. We're gonna blow through the rest of this anyway because there's not a lot of it happened. Anyway, so Bronson Reed squashes Mustafa Ali. Strong match. I do think Reed looks strong going into the chamber, which I would be okay with him putting the belt on him and strapping him up. It would be okay.
Yeah.
Then we got Miz TV and Rollins' silly little boots.
Yeah, the Dora the Explorer boots or something. I'm like, what is that?
And when he gets Miz TV going, and I like how Miz goes, all right, first thing I do is, what are those? I popped. I laughed so hard. I was like, all right, you got me on that, Miz.
Yeah.
It was good. And it almost like got Rollins. So it was almost like he wasn't expecting it.
Mm-hmm. I thought that was good business, especially for the Miz, because you could see more of his personality. And you're like, okay, he may not be main eventing for a little while, but it wasn't that long ago that they put the world title on him because they were kind of in a bind.
Yeah, he even said it in this promo. He headlined WrestleMania once. Yeah. So, and that's pretty much what the promo was. He tried to talk about Logan Paul and Rollins squashed it. I don't want to talk about Logan Paul. Yeah. Which obviously they're going to have their WrestleMania match. But, so went back and forth. Then he talked about Austin a little bit. And then The Miz brought up Logan Paul again. So Rollins just went straight heel, in my opinion. Like almost like Miz was the face in this cut here. And went off on him, beat him up. Austin pops up behind him. Stone Cold. No, I'm just kidding. Wrong Austin. He does whatever that goofy move Austin does.
A-Town down.
Yeah, A-Town down. And so Rollins gets to his feet, super kicks Miz, stomps him, and then leaves. So you got Miz in the ring. So here's another issue I had. So you got Miz laid out in the ring. Mm-hmm. We cut to the back, and it's Boogs and Elias talking.
I am so into Boogs now, man.
See, I told you. You gave him a hard time like 3 or 4 episodes. You're like, oh, Boogs. I'm like, dude, he's great. To clap.
I apologize. Oh,
he's so great.
Rick, and they're building Elias and Boogs just like. Oh man, when he slapped Elias,
I would love for them to be a tag team and go for the titles. Like that was great.
But funny.
I mean, they didn't do a whole lot. But what I thought was good business is in the background of them talking is the Hurt Business.
Yep.
So I got a glimpse. I don't know why I got DVR. I could have paused it, but I definitely saw MVP, and it looked like Benjamin, and I thought I saw Lashley too. I'm not sure. I probably could go back and watch it. I was probably completely wrong, but whatever. But definitely like. And I noticed it last week too, like in the background, they're starting to add stuff, which I think is cool to kind of tie things together. So
to connect everything from bit to next week to wrestling story to get them into the next program. So
exactly,
I like that touch.
Yeah. So then we find out it's Boogs versus Miz, and they're oh my god, Miz is still out. But when they come back, the carpet's gone, and Miz is still laying in the same position. I'm like, wait, so. Being there live, you saw him get up, get out of the ring, then remove the carpet, him call back, and then lay back down.
Yeah.
Just leave the carpet down next time.
Yeah.
It's not a big deal because Boog squashed him in like a minute and impressed me with his strength. I love how he's curling the Miz, and then he presses him over the head, slams him, boom, 1, 2, 3, done.
Yeah,
I think it was 2 minutes. Man. But Boog's down.
Yeah.
Like it was great.
Between Madcap Moss now being the number 1 contender and Thick Rick. Yeah, I think I'm in. I think that's
booging out.
I think that's the next shirt that I'm gonna go grab. Is
that'd be a good one
to my LA Night Girl.
Those two need to cut a promo together. Yeah.
Oh my god. Boogs. Let me talk to you. Thick Rick. Girl. So.
Yep. So quick match. Then we got a Chelsea Green Pierce stuff. To be honest with you, I don't remember it.
Yeah,
It was very quick.
I didn't
I
even
think-
I didn't even write it down. Well, the only thing I wrote down was so dumb. Like
Yeah.
because the stuff last week was funny because it's like they're building her to be the Barbie
Yeah.
of the or Karen, yeah.
Yep.
And then this week just seemed like just a total swing and a miss. So.
Yeah, I agree. It was, yeah. I don't think I registered what they said. The only thing I
I'm
could see
just
coming
laughing
out of
about
this,
boobs. I was born and bred to rip and shred.
yep.
Oh man, he's my spirit animal.
Oh, he's great.
Only I'm ripping bread and shredding cheese,
Cheese.
and making grilled cheese, but he's not eating any grilled cheese.
No. Yeah, he's awesome. I'm boogsing out here. I'm boogsing out. Yeah, he's great, man. I really enjoy him. Back to the Chelsea Green thing, though. I'm curious if they're treating her the way they are for Matt Cardona to come in and kind of, I just bumped my table. For Matt Cardona to come in and be like, why are you treating my wife this way? And maybe, I mean, he's obviously not going to feud with Pierce, but like he could come in as her savior or, I don't know.
Yeah, and that's what I was thinking too for I don't know if you caught any of the Nuff Said, the NWA pay-per-view.
No.
It seemed like because Matt Cardona didn't lose the NWA title, he had to give it up because of injury. And Tyrus has been walking around with the title because he beat I believe he beat Murdoch, and so it just seemed like okay, got to close the chapter, move forward with the NWA.
Yeah, because I saw Bubba Ray challenge Tyrus.
Yeah. So that'll be the story for that, and so now Matt's not in a program, and then like we were talking about the other day that Matt Cardona backed off on buying the rights to Zack Ryder, so there could be something, and not like if you're an independent wrestler and you've been in the WWE before and you were or weren't treated a certain way and you're seeing how Cody's being treated, you've got to think, okay, there is a great chance that I'm going to walk in the door, be an upper mid card on probably
make lots of money.
Yeah. And he's, and so having Matt come back as Matt Cardona, not as Zack Ryder, just like how Cody acknowledged during the match where he did the Stardust as if to say, all right, Stardust is gone. I'm no longer dashing Cody Rhodes. I am the American Nightmare. And, he's here to stay. So I think that'd be awesome. That'd be awesome to see.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. Then I think I missed somewhere in there, but I think we had Beth and Edge recapping that they got beat up. I don't remember. Because then we had the Judgment Day recapping that they beat them up.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, okay. We had a lot of recaps in the show. Then we had a recap of what the Chamber is.
Mm-hmm.
Then we had a recap of the Sammy Cody promo that happened 2 hours ago.
Yeah.
But then we get to the main event. Why? I have so many problems with this one. So all three in the ring. Cool. And so I want to get this out there. I thought the match was good. They did a good job. The story built in and around the match, I had a lot of problems with.
Right.
I thought the three women went out and did a great job. They had good chemistry. They're hard hitting. I don't want to downplay that. I thought they were great in the ring.
Mm-hmm.
I think different circumstances, different story, all the bullshit aside, this would have been good. I have so many questions, though. So I'm not even going to run through the match. I'm going to ask you the questions to see if you can help me.
Yeah.
So they make a point of saying it's no DQ. Hey, no DQ rules in effect. Why didn't they take advantage of it? So if they want to be in Elimination Chamber so much, even further than that, why didn't Becky and Bayley just go, okay, let's just beat the out of Bianca to where she can't get in the ring. Then we just go one-on-one and see who wins.
Yeah, and then we can settle it amongst yourselves. And
That was my first question.
yeah. So
Yep.
they've had, Bailey and Becky have showed the ability to use chairs, kendo sticks, take the pads off of the turnbuckles.
Yep.
And that, I mean, nothing. So yeah,
Yep.
interesting
Damage control came
stipulation,
out.
and then not used. Yeah, I don't.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and then that was my thing. Okay. Well, now you got damage control coming out. Okay. So why didn't they just all three of them beat the hell out of the two?
Yep.
Why did they just stand around the side of the ring? I'm like, oh, this so frustrating. Like, so frustrating. Then I don't understand why the other women in the Elimination Chamber came out. They had no, and it's not even like they came out to fight anybody in the ring. They came out and went after damage control and then fought amongst themselves. I'm like, what the frig is going on here?
Yeah. It was almost as if they just wanted to get everyone on TV again.
Well, yeah.
And there was no like real purpose. It was just like,
yeah,
hey, we went short in some segments. We've got an extra 6 minutes to fill.
Yep.
And we already know who's going over. So here you go. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I know this is a stretch, but common sense wise, if you're the 6 women in the Elimination Chamber, you don't want another person in there. So why did they come out and fight each other? Why not jump in the ring and just beat the hell out of Bailey and Becky?
Right.
And let Bianca win. Like, there was just so many problems I had with that.
Yeah, and it didn't. It was almost like an afterthought, and later on, someone in creative is sitting there going, "Oh, why did I do that? That was a complete whiff." I hope that's what they're thinking right now.
Yeah, well, and I know traditional WWE mindset is, and then you have a big brawl leading into whatever the main event is.
Yeah.
But they didn't even end with that. They ended with Bianca. I think Becky hit the manhandle slam on Bailey, backed up right into Bianca, who hit the KOD onto Bailey, and then pinned Bailey, I think it was.
Yeah, Bailey.
Yeah, and I'm just like, so for a minute there, I thought, oh, she's gonna manhandle slam her, cool, KOD onto Bailey. Maybe she's gonna let Bailey win, like, pin Bailey and Becky's in. I was like, oh, that's cool. But then she pulled her off and she pinned her. I'm like,
yeah,
I just didn't get it, and I think goes back to my AEW WWE bias. Like, not all the time, but more times than not, AEW, there's a pretty good why. You can kind of get to the why.
Yeah.
On actions, like, it makes common sense. This is a prime example of WWE not making common sense to me. Again, the match was good.
Yep.
Yeah, the match was good.
Like, athletically. Their gear, the chemistry, the sequencing.
The story they told in the ring, other than the dumb shit stuff, was great. Yeah. I had a big issue with the nonsense that went with it, and it really distracted from what I felt was a pretty good match. It really, I don't know. Again, the match itself, like, the three of them could main event WrestleMania together, I think.
Yeah,
triple threat, cool, have a good time. From the beginning of the match, or the beginning of the show, to this gave me a lot of, what the flip are they doing? Like, what? This doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
So, unfortunately, that's how it ended with me.
Yeah, and like, to talk about, like, Friday night, whenever what they do is they'll have a piece in the front of the start the show, that whether it's in the back or a pull up or whatever. Usually it's the Bloodline. Rowan, I've got a question. I don't have time for questions.
Right.
And a little bit later on, Roman sitting there with Heyman or somebody else going into the second hour. Wise man. Oh, yes, my tribal chief. Question. All right, guys. Hey, go to the bus. Go eat. I'm going to go handle some business out. And then in the ring, it makes sense because it was
right.
Here's what I'm going to tell you. Here's what I just told you. And then, they sum it all up in a nice package that you can take home happy. Like, oh, okay, cool. Makes sense. This made no sense.
And I don't want to get it, like, I don't want to confuse. I like a story thread that's through, like you just said, the story of the bloodline throughout all of Friday Night was great.
Yes.
Wednesday, the story of MJF, he was a main focus, so that's all the way through. This was a storyline at the beginning and end, cool, but the story didn't make sense.
Yeah.
And just like I am with my work life, everything, I always like to know the why behind stuff. And I've realized, like, as we've started doing this, and I've started to, I'm not an analyst. I'm never going to say I'm an analyst, but I've started to, as a fan, analyze and look at wrestling.
Analytical.
Yeah, and look at it so I could talk more about it instead of just jump in and go, oh, that was cool. Like, I've noticed I like to know the why behind my wrestling. Like, why did so-and-so make this move? Why did so-and-so do this? Because for me, it's more fun to dig into it and try to get the background of their characters and look at that stuff. This one just it hurt my brain because none of the whys made sense. There's no reason anywhere in this story other than let's put these three on and then have the people that are going to be in the Elimination Chamber come on. Yeah, that made sense to why they should have been on the show.
Yeah, and
so unfortunately,
the after fact or after, so like cause and effect, right? So because Becky and Bayley didn't win, I'm thinking, okay, well that'll get them a match at Elimination Chamber. Maybe that's a blow-off match, or they're like, oh, you cost me this, oh, you cost me that. All right, that's it. Damage control, and this will all play out in Montreal. All right, damage control against, and then Becky's going to be standing there like, and then Lita will walk up. I had your back before, I got your back now.
Yeah.
And then Trish will walk up, not in my hometown, and then everybody's like, and then they get their WrestleMania moment and a paycheck. So,
yeah, I'm not sure. So, and it left. So to wrap this show up of us talking, because we've gone over an hour. Unfortunately, so I'm very conflicted on this Raw. I think if the Goofy Y stuff hadn't happened, I'd actually probably rate it almost 3.5 to 4 beards. I really enjoyed a lot of it, but I have such a problem with the beginning and the end. Even the squash matches through, I thought had sent up like my why. So the squash of Michin made sense because you're making Piper Niven look strong.
Yep.
Boog's squashing the Miz makes sense because it ties into what talked about before. The Miz show made sense because you're talking about Logan Paul, so you're tying that, like, things tied together. The Judgment Day stuff made sense because you're trying to make them look strong. Like, everything except for the beginning and end of this show. I just had a big issue with it. So it dropped it down to, I would go 2.5, 3 beards. I wouldn't give it a full 4 or 5.
Yeah. And, kind of what I sort of mentioned about the package that I get to take home and I want to be happy with. I was not happy with it, although I did get to see Mia Yim, Michin, and Cody a couple of times. Sadly, Dos El Beardos, 2 beards from Ellie Jair.
Yeah, and it's funny. I think I ranked this one higher with a 2.5.
Yeah.
Because I think the only reason is because the Cody thing, the interruption coming from Gorilla. Love that. Didn't like him making an impromptu match. Love the impromptu match. So actually, I'm going to go 3.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to go 3 beers because I think some of the good stuff again, Chef Kiss to the Gorilla thing.
The move.
I love, like, that right there. I think gave it the edge because the promo with Sammy and Cody was okay, but I just love the setup and the production of him coming through Gorilla and interrupting an interview made sense and it made a purpose, and I love that. And I think that just kind of gave me that little bit of extra to I'm gonna go 3. I'm gonna go 3 beards.
Ooh. Yeah, I you kind of swayed me a little bit because
no, man, I can't. No, I stick with your rate now. I'm just kidding.
No, I mean you pointed out the good stuff, with Cody and the timing and the promo, good piece of business in the ring. So I'll give it 2.5 beards.
I never thought I ranked the WWE show higher than you, but there was some stuff on the show that I really, really admired and really enjoyed.
Yeah.
And like I said, now that I'm being a little more analytical on how I look at things in the whys, like, most WWE shows, the whys don't. Most WWE shows are like the beginning and end of this show. Where I'm like, what the flip is going on? Why would this happen? But this one, actually, everything between the middle and the end I could go follow the bread trails and see where this could lead to. So
there it is, man. Well, these bread trails lead to the end of the No Shave Man Cave Monday Night Raw review on this Hump Day edition, 15 February, not April. Happy Husband Appreciation Day. I hope all our husbands and are doing well and safe, and looking forward to having you back in the No Shave Man Cave when we meet very, very soon to review Wednesday's AEW. So on behalf of Jay Tilley, I'm Ellie Jair. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you on the floor.